today, Dallas Cowboys fans, Cowboy Nation, just NFL fans all around. The Dallas Cowboys are now finding themselves in the potential space of paying Dak Prescott an obscene amount of money per year, although it is going to be also due to the contract, to the NFL salary cap going up. I think it said a standard record. Now we're talking about $30 million increase for each team. Compared to last season, I believe $255.4 million will be the new salary cap for each team. So the Dallas Cowboys are going to have to pay up on a player like Dak Prescott. We can talk about what we think Dak Prescott is as a fan base, or just NFL fans in general. You could talk about what exactly you think maybe the things that he's not, his flaws. I guess you want to say his flaws as a quarterback are. But at the end of the day, the Dallas Cowboys are looking at a quarterback that is facing, again, now going to the 9th season, I believe, of his career. We're talking about a guy this past season almost throws for 70% on completion percentage. Also talking about a guy that threw for over 4,500 yards. I believe 36 touchdown passes, only 9 interceptions. We do know the NFL playoffs again this year did not go the way the Dallas Cowboys fans expected and hoped they would be. I feel like we've said this has become a broken record at this point. We say this all the time, but at the end of the day, if you let Dak Prescott pretty much find himself as a free agent or anything of the sort, any team, we're talking about lots of teams, other than teams that are maybe having a Josh Allen or a Patrick Mahomes, a Joe Burrow at this point, if he can stay healthy, but just some of these, a Lamar Jackson type, you're looking at lots of teams around the league that will be knocking down doors to pay a quarterback like Dak Prescott. And I know you can hear Cowboys fans already saying, well, let them do it. But at the end of the day, we could talk about what we believe you can maybe get a top quarterback pick or anything, a top draft pick. But at the end of the day, the Dallas Cowboys are not having one of those high-level picks in the first round this year where you're looking at saying, maybe the Cowboys can just go draft the quarterback for the future. We're not in that position. And what you can do, if you feel like it's still something to kick the tires on, you take a look at what a Trey Lance could be. You're also going to be able to ask yourself, are we now in a position where you could possibly be looking for a future quarterback? That can also be up in the air. I'm not necessarily ruling that out, but this year the Cowboys don't expect them to use a top level pick, meaning a first, second, third round pick on a quarterback or anything. So Dak Prescott is going to be your guy going forward. Stephen Jones already said it himself, and more times than not, when Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones, these guys say they want somebody to return to this team, that's usually exactly what happens. But it's been reported over the last couple of days, Dak Prescott could be set to reset the entire quarterback market with making about over $60 million a year. We've seen over the last couple of years, the quarterback position has pretty much reset that market many times, whether you're talking about since Dak Prescott got his deal. You're looking at Lamar Jackson's. You're looking at your guys like a Joe Burrow. You're looking at some of these guys, Jalen Hurts. These guys are making $50 million a year. Pat Mahomes already compared, I guess you want to say in comparison, is taking a discount on what his skill set is. Obviously, coming off another Super Bowl season. But Dak Prescott is going to be the quarterback for the Cowboys going forward. I hope this fan base it's already pretty much set to just go ahead, accept it. It's what it's going to be because, again, Dak Prescott, we could do much worse than a Dak Prescott quarterback. I mean, we're looking at his career, I believe his career stats, I believe, about 66% on completion percentage. We're also looking at a guy for throwing for almost 30,000 yards. I believe, 202 touchdown passes, 74 interceptions. This is a guy the Cowboys are going to hang on to at least for another couple seasons because we did have we obviously had the ability to go ahead and get Dak Prescott some years ago on a cheaper discount deal, but the Cowboys chose to take a different route, and now Dak Prescott has all the leverage. He has everything pretty much in his corner to be able to get what he wants out of the Cowboys right now. I'm going to say at the end of the day, I'm not the biggest fan of your quarterback taking pretty much a big, huge, crazy chunk of your salary cap because we do know we have other things that we need to add to this team, but that's not Dak Prescott's job. That's Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones, Will McClay. That's those guys' responsibility to pretty much make sure that everything is where it needs to be, and we're talking about also in when it's involving the salary cap. So the Dallas Cowboys are going to pay Dak Prescott. Now, will he reset the market and it's going to be $60 million a year? That's yet to be seen. We'll exactly have to see what the numbers look like, but I'm going to expect this thing to get done before the offseason. If not before the offseason, definitely deep into training camp and somewhat possibly maybe early on in the season. But Dak Prescott, I believe he wants to be the Cowboys quarterback. There's a lot that comes with that, the pressure although, but at the same time, that notoriety, those commercials you're going to be getting, Dak Prescott is going to be the quarterback for this team going forward. Now, what's going to be asked as the bigger question, can Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott build onto what they had built, I guess you want to say started to create in this past season? Because we do know at the end of the day, regular season does not not mean much, especially the Cowboys fans. We're wanting to see some playoff success, want to see some of that happen. At the end of the day, I'm not going to be the one telling anybody how to be a fan, because if you're disappointed, if you're pessimistic going forward, that's exactly right, because I can't say I'm too far off of that. But going forward, Dak Prescott is probably going to be the quarterback for this team. Go ahead and accept it. Go ahead and let that reality set in. And trust me, I say personally, in my opinion, we could do much worse than a Dak Prescott at the quarterback position for the Dallas Cowboys. Also, at this point, we're looking at what is the next thing for the Dallas Cowboys to focus on? I'm going to say the NFL Combine. We do know that's not too far off. I believe in the next coming days, it's supposed to be. Today's what, the 23rd? I believe the Combine officially starts. Not the Combine. Yeah, the Combine itself, excuse me, is set to be here, I believe, on the 26th. So right after that, I believe 29th to the 3rd, February 29th to March 3rd will be the live drills. You're going to have your linemen, your linebackers, your tight ends, your DBs, receivers, running backs, quarterbacks, all that good stuff. We know how that stuff goes. And the Cowboys, to me, this focus needs to be mainly, I'm going to say, I can also see us adding some more secondary help, because I do want us to add in and figure out what we're doing with the safety position, because Donovan Wilson, I'm going to say, is not your prototypical standard, just back there free roaming safety. And I'm going to say, if you compare him to more of a strong safety, but he likes to play close to the box, use him more of a gadget player. We'll become accustomed to seeing him being used as under Dan Quinn. We'll see how exactly Mike Zimmer likes to employ Donovan Wilson, but I can see us looking for some more DB help. But I'm going to say especially, I want us to get bigger, stronger, and quicker on the D-line and also in the linebacker position. Those are going to be two groups I'm going to say the Dallas Cowboys need to hit hard this upcoming draft. Linemen, and obviously I'm a Texas Longhorns fan. You have guys like Tavondre Sweat, Byron Murphy, and you're starting to see some of these mock drafts move around up in there. You're not really sure who's going to be the first round picks, but I feel like two of those are two guys I'm going to say could definitely help the Cowboys. I feel like right now Byron Murphy is looked at as more of that guy that could possibly be a first round pick, but it's Tavondre Sweat. He could also possibly be maybe that lower end for a team that's kind of looking for the Chiefs, maybe just looking to add some more beef or something to that line. But also at the same time, this is where the Cowboys need to focus, and I'm going to say the linebacker. That's the most important to me. Linebacker position, we saw many times Damone Clark, Leighton Vander Esch, also Leighton Vander Esch having his injury history. We're going to have to figure out what is next. I don't want to do the small, undersized thing anymore. We saw exactly how that works. At some points, it's going to have its advantages, but at many, it's going to have its disadvantages, especially we're talking about Marquise Bell playing undersized. It's not his fault. We're talking about Dan Quinn likes to be versatile and use and move guys around. We become accustomed to seeing guys like Jaron Kearse play closer to the line, but I feel like for the Cowboys to get themselves back to where we need to be just as an overall defense, and I'm not talking about even statistically, because at the end of the day, you can be a top 3, top 5 rated defense, but at the same time, a lot of those can become from splash plays. We saw the Cowboys. We've had some shutouts. We've had some complete dominant performances, sometimes against the worst opponents in the league. But again, at the end of the day, it's still any given Sunday. You have to come out there and put forward your best effort, because you can lose to anybody. But we've seen some of the Cowboys, I maybe say, boost those defensive stats a little bit against some of the worst teams. And then against some of the better teams, you still have some solid games defensively. But at the end of the day, sometimes we see too many splash plays come against better opponents. So I think Mike Zimmer, the biggest thing he's going to bring to this team going forward is just going to be a more solidified defense. Meaning, a lot of this stuff that you're going to see during the postseason, during the regular season, I guess I'll say, excuse me. A lot of stuff you'll see from Mike Zimmer defense during the regular season, I feel like it'll be easier to duplicate some of that same stuff you're going to see during the postseason. And at the end of the day, it's going to be about putting together the best product on offense and defense and building the best overall team. So going forward, I feel like this is going to be very big for the Cowboys to focus on. Of course, I don't get too much into combine. I like to talk about some of the guys after all that's out of the way, because now you're going to have a better view and guys can somehow kind of slip through the cracks. We talk about workout warriors and t-shirt warriors. These guys out there in just no pads, kind of moving around, flying around fast. And that doesn't always I guess you want to say, excuse me, show itself in the same sense when you're talking about going and doing it on an actual football field in games. In an NFL game, I'll say, excuse me, in games. So to me, I like to focus more on the draft after that. And I believe the draft is going to be here, April 25th to April 27th. So the Cowboys are going to have a lot to focus on going forward, but it's going to start with this combine. And it's going to start, to me, like I said, with locking in Dak Prescott. Because one thing we don't want to go into next season is having a lot of uncertainty, because there's already going to be some. Mike McCarthy, I already say now, this is going to be Super Bowl appearance or nothing. If he's not at least in the Super Bowl, I'm going to expect to see the Dallas Cowboys have a new head coach going forward, because Mike McCarthy is also going to be hitting year 5, I believe, of his deal. So we're not going to be asking ourselves what exactly is next. And one thing I'm going to say, I will be clear. I also will say, at the end of the day, with Dak Prescott having all the leverage in his I'm gonna say in his corner, pretty much with his team, Mike McCarthy is going to naturally have to pretty much throw everything that he can into this thing. So, and I feel like at the end of the day, you're going to say, regardless of what you think of Dak Prescott, he is a capable NFL quarterback. So Mike McCarthy, maybe we need him pretty much on that hot seat. And I believe this seat is way hotter than hot. But Mike McCarthy, maybe you need an aggressive, I guess I'm going to say aggressive approach from week 1 and seeing what Dak Prescott can do going forward. So the Dallas Cowboys have a lot to focus on. Like I said, the NFL Combine is coming up in the next few days. And the NFL Draft will be right after that. So I appreciate you guys for all the support. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know down below in the comments section. What do you think about Dak Prescott? Good or bad? I'm open for all opinions. And what do you think the Cowboys should focus on going into the draft? What do you think is the #1 position you personally like to see this team take a big look at? So I appreciate you guys once again for all the support. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.